Hey there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited, super excited. Tonight, I'm going to teach very simply on how you can write your ticket to freedom, simply leveraging what you know. I'm going to break this down, and I think I have like 5 simple steps. My only goal is to support you. If you're smart, you're sharp, at work, you're providing tons of value. You've been trying to figure out how can I take what I'm doing professionally and package it so I can go to work for myself. Is there an easier way? There is. How can I create more time, greater profitability for myself in my life? If you've asked yourself any of those questions, tonight I'm going to provide the answers for that. I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant. I got started in my company, wow, 19 years ago. 19 years. And I simply made a decision. I wanted to figure out how to take my background as a corporate trainer and my systems in motherhood. I wanted to know how to package my knowledge in a different way other than how I was selling my time. I was selling my knowledge with the Fortune 100 company, and I loved it. But I just knew there was a better way for me, and I wanted to create more lifestyle freedom, and I couldn't see how I was going to do that because the only trajectory I had was 70 hours a week, 60, 70 hours a week, and maybe you have your hand raised too. So tonight I want to talk specifically to those of you who want to know how to write your own ticket, build your own business so that you can create greater time freedom. And the reason I wanted to unravel this for you is because this was foreign to me. Actually, I was so inundated with the corporate way, the business way, the work way, whatever you want to call it, that I didn't understand that there was another way to be able to monetize what I knew how to do. And I hope that as a result of what I share with you tonight, that it's eye-opening for you, and that you, like me, when you are exposed to the truth, you'll take an action that will change your life. Now, I want you to know that this is an interactive live, and even if you're watching the replay, great, but be sure to comment as you go through the live and you hear something that adds value to you or that gives you a tremendous aha. I want you to just post it here, right? Because that is the way that you communicate and let me know that you like what it is that I'm sharing with you. And I know that this is totally going to support you. Now, I want to disclaim this. This live is not going to be for everyone. It's not going to be for you if you want hype. And it's not going to be for you if you are a hustle and grinder. It's not. It's not going to be for you if you are you want someone to prove something to you, because that's not what I'm going to do here. What I'm going to share with you is my truth, like literally what I learned as a result of building an amazing business that has allowed me to work from the comfort of my home or anywhere I want to around the world and not trade time for dollars, and that how to leverage my knowledge and not only do it for myself, but I've been able to take my model that has been sustainable and has allowed me to be a full-time entrepreneur for over now 2 decades, to transfer that knowledge to other women who have done exactly the same thing, selling high-ticket products or services. So it is for you if you know that what you know is very valuable. You might not know how to properly package it or what you should price it at, but the reality is you know it's valuable. And you just want to know that it's possible. That was me. Okay, so here's my story. When I got started, I wanted to take my knowledge and package it, but I didn't know how to do it. So I went to a small business resource center in my town, and I was told by the director of the small business resource center that my idea, mom coaching, did not make any sense and that no one would ever pay me to do what I do today. And I'm so grateful that I didn't listen to one opinion, one person's perspective or advice or limiting belief about what I could do. And I kept looking for someone that could help me, that was the example of what it is I want to do. And I bumped into my coach, who I've worked with for 19 years. That's a tip, big tip, right? Been in business 19 years, had the same coach for 19 years. I don't coach hop. And I went to her live event. And when I went to her live event, it was the first time I saw someone who demonstrated proof that they were living the life that I wanted to live. And she was a coach. I didn't know any coaches personally. And I certainly didn't know any coaches, business individuals who are people operating businesses who were free in a true sense. Like she was free. She could go live in Mexico for 5-6 months out of the year and go live in New Jersey 2-3 months out of the year. And they go back to Philadelphia. And I was like, I want to be able to be free my own way. And I knew that her example that she demonstrated was real. And I wanted to live that way. See, I just didn't want to be the coach or the educational professional that had to go on the road and speak to earn a living. I didn't want to trade time for dollars. I didn't want to go from 170 hour, work week to another that required travel. And in order for me to earn, I wanted to figure out, how can I work from my home office, right? I'm in my office right now. How can I work from home? Okay, so I could run to my kids' school and be the mom I wanted to be and date my husband in the middle of the day and do whatever I wanted to do for my own me time and self-care. And maybe you've thought this too. I was like, I don't want to be in conference calls all day. I don't want to be in meetings all day. I want to do something that's meaningful, more meaningful with my skills and my talents, and I want to be properly compensated for it. Fast forward, I've been able to build an amazing business from the comfort of my home, and I've supported thousands of women literally all around the world. I've been signed to Emmy-nominated, nationally syndicated television shows as the mom strategist as paid talent. And equally, I've done corporate deals with Fortune 100 companies like Panera Bread or Marriott Corporation or Great Harvest Bread Company, just to name a few, called Corner Bakery Cafe. Equally, I've had the opportunity to be a best-selling author for multiple books and support over 160 plus of my clients in doing exactly the same. It's probably 200. I have stopped counting after like 163 clients. The reality is that I've recognized over the years on my own journey that what you know is very valuable. And specifically, the model that you build the business is so important. Most people miss this. They think that just because they have a business, just because they are a coach, just because they're servicing clients, that the business is set up properly. But I learned a very important lesson, that when my husband developed kidney disease about 13 years ago and went on dialysis, it was a super scary time for us as a family. And I learned in that moment that because I had built my business that was based on time freedom, hear me guys, okay, because it was truly profitable, I could be there for my husband in ways that I desired. You see, we build our business for freedom, but that freedom gets tested if ever you have something happens in your life and you need freedom in order for you to show up. And I learned that firsthand, and it's the reason I take a stand when I come here on these lives for those of you who are attracted to truth, not hype. Okay, meaning if you want to build a business, you want to get free, you want to stay free, you want to build a solid business that allows you to be profitable without hype. Okay, all right. So, as a result of growing this business, we've been able to invest multi-millions of dollars in our kids' education. 3 kids, elementary, middle, and high school. We've invested over $1 million. And I would say equally just being able to travel the world or just have options with your family, or being able to give my husband amazing medical care when he needed it. We hired a private physician for him outside of standard care. And I believe that's why he did amazingly well. Why do I tell you this? Because people always talk about money for the sake of money. But what I know for sure is that if you ever have a challenge in your life, in your world, it's the business that you've built, it's the resources that you have that helps you solve that problem differently. And somebody's saying, hello, okay, because that's real. All right, so let's just jump in. Today's live is how do you write your freedom ticket, okay, leveraging what you know. How do you write a ticket that allows you to be free in your business? Free to me means that you control your time. You build your business around the life you want to live, not the other way. Most of us are so acclimated to building a business around our job. Your job says you work 9 to 5, or you work 9 to 6 or 7, or whatever it might look like. And that is the mindset that you have, is that you work when someone tells you to work. Freedom to me means that I get to do what I want to do, and I get to do it in a time that's congruent with me living my life. I currently service my clients primarily on Tuesdays, and I have just a few private clients that I work with each and every year. most of my week is free for me to be able to spend time with my family, or for me to practice self-care and me time. And I tell you this because it's real. And I know that a lot of the women that follow me, one of the greatest desires you have is like, how do I really get free? How do I build a business around my life? And I'm explaining it to you. And because a lot of times we don't have examples of it. So tonight I wanted to share with you what I share with my clients, pull back the layers, and just, if you want to get free and leveraging what you know, what do you need to do? Here's the first thing that you need to do. And y'all need to write this down, okay? You only need one high ticket offer. That's it. You need just one offer. And what I see a lot of times when people come to me, they've got all these offers, they've got all these products, they're selling all these services. And one of the things that shoots them in the foot is exactly that. It's like no one's buying anything because you're selling everything. But what I teach my clients to do is to only sell one thing that they're amazing at. And I'll go deeper on this in a minute. So I want you to understand that if you are not a specialist at what you do, that's one of the reasons why you're not free, okay? I do the same thing. I help my clients package their knowledge into a high ticket offer, and on or offline, I show them how to price that offer, which is $2,500 or more, $2,500, $5,000, 10 grand, $15,000, $25,000, $100,000 or more per client. And I show them how to market themselves in a way that positions them differently in the marketplace so that competition becomes irrelevant. So they're not out there hustling and grinding like everybody else. They're not out there trying to work with everyone, because not everyone's supposed to be your client. And I also teach my clients how to sell to your ideal audience. And I'll talk a little bit about that. So if you want to get yourself free, the truth of the matter is you only need one offer. And I know somebody's listening to me right now saying, me, I got like 3 offers, 5 offers. I know. Okay. I know it. I've looked at so many businesses on the inside, and it is, hey, Amanda, you know what I'm saying? Amanda, you just started working with me, right? Like, how long has it been? Has it been 5 weeks? Maybe 5 weeks. Okay. And look at the progress that you've made in such a short period of time, right? So if you feel comfortable sharing, feel free, but don't feel any pressure. Okay. But the fact of the matter is, most people think they need multiple offers, or I would say most people don't know how to charge to stand in their own value. And because they don't know how to charge to stand in their own value, what gets in the way is low ticket, or doing things for free, or no fees, or, or deeply discounting the thing that you know how to do. You only need one offer if you want to get yourself free. And I'll tell you why. If you think about it right now, if you go back and you look at what you've been selling over the last year or two, for those of you who've been in business, you likely will see 1 or 2 things that are selling. Probably all those other things you got on your website that you thought, I'll just capture them all. Nobody's buying. I know. I know it. Okay. I know it. I don't even have to see it, and I know it. All right. And the fact of the matter is, most people don't buy anything from a website presence. Okay. Number 2. All right. Number 2. The second thing that I want you to understand, if you want to write your ticket to freedom, learning how to package your knowledge, number 2 is do only what you're great at. And I'm going to say that slowly. You guys should be hearting this up. Do only what you're great at. Do only what you're great at. See, what people will pay you for as a high ticket offer is a result that you can create. And what I see is a lot of people doing what they can do, but they're not doing what they're great at. If I go back and I think, why is it that my business has grown the way that it has? How is it that I've consistently, year after year, been able to attract my ideal clients? More people come to me over and over again, word of mouth, right? Referral, over and over again, right? It's because you become known for the transformation and the results that you provide. And a lot of times when you water down your offer or what you're bringing to the table, you have so many people who don't know what you're good at, because you're trying to sell everything to everybody. And sometimes in that process of just casting that big wide net, it might not be the thing that you are amazing at. And I always tell my clients, like, at the end of the day, my clients all sell high ticket things, $2,500 or more. So it means that if someone's going to pay you top dollar for what you do, it needs to be something that you are sure that you can create results for others. Is this making sense? If this is making sense, I want you to write, this is making sense. All right. It's interesting because I watch people, they have like the slickest websites ever. They have the best PowerPoints ever. They have all the animations, all of these things that they feel they need in order for them to sell. And the truth of the matter is, all anyone needs is for you to know what you're really tremendously great at and to be able to share what that result is. See, people want answers. They want solutions, right? From people who are true experts. It's the thing that's missing today in the marketplace. It's missing. Okay. It's missing. And it's the reason why I believe it's been so easy to do business, because people come to me because my clients get results, and there's evidence that they get results, and they get results quickly. And not tooting my own horn, but if you sell what you're good at, then people are going to get results, and get results quickly, and there's going to be proof of it. But a lot of times we aren't selling what we're good at. We're just selling what we can do. And there is a difference. That is such a huge aha and a huge takeaway. Number 3, the third thing. Attract your ideal client instead of working with everyone. Okay. So what's attractive to your ideal client? Do you even know who your ideal client is? Most people don't. Okay. So when I tell you a number, for example, like somebody might tell me, like, I work, Mia, with women. And I'll say, what kind of women? And I'll say, all women. Impossible. Right. So a lot of times when our niche is so broad and we say, I work with everyone, you attract no one. I can tell you I work with women, but I don't work with all women. I work with women who are smart and they're sharp. They believe in self-investment. They're action takers. They're go-getters. They're go-givers, right? They create results for others. They're highly actionable. There's a certain prototype of a person that I work with. She's a person that's probably running things already in her life, in her world. People go to her all the time for answers. Likely in her department, she's the one she's the point person. She's the leader. And she knows, like, there's something that I do that's different, that's special, but I got to figure out how to use this. That's who I work with. I don't work with people who want to get started in business and they have no clue what they're great at. Okay. So you got to think about for yourself, who is it that you work with? Who is she? Who is he? Who are they? All right. And only market to those individuals, because part of what gets in the way is when you water down your marketing in such a way that you're like, I am working with all of these people. And then you attract none of those people, because the person that you're meant to work with can't even hear your message. If this is making sense, I want you to write, this is totally making sense. And if you're watching the replay, be sure to write, this is making sense. All right. And I wanted you to get this today because I know you want to write your ticket to freedom, and I know you want to package your knowledge. And a lot of times it seems like something that is harder than it is. But for me, I had to have someone demonstrate for me what this would look like. Is that Yolanda Johnson? This makes me so happy, Yolanda. Oh, I love this picture. Okay. All right. I love the picture. Yolanda Johnson. You guys make sure you follow her. And she's amazing. Okay. Number four. She's a leadership coach. Number 4. Okay. Shamara writes, love that picture. This is making sense. Amanda is saying, making sense. Yolanda, I'm still learning from you. We learn from one another, right? Yolanda is one of my Core Mom clients, right? Core Mom, she went one of my Core Mom classes, maybe like 8 years ago, something like that, right? How cool is that? Okay, number 4. Here's the 4th thing that you need to do if you want to write your ticket to freedom. 4th thing you will need to do is, this one is, lean in for this one. Yolanda, you probably, you got this, okay? You need to have a quick sales turnaround. That's 3 days or less for your sales process. So I know that sounds radical. And I know many of you are saying, Mia, what are you talking about? But if you want to get yourself free and it takes you 5 days, 7 days, 2 weeks to close a client. We have a problem. Okay, Houston, we have a problem. To close a client, person that's interested in working with you, should be less than 3 days. Less than 3 days. And if you don't know how to do that, that's the work. Now I'm talking about for those of you who want to get yourselves free and you want to leverage your knowledge. And it's taking you, there's a long runway in your sales process. Likely it's your own belief in yourself. It's that you don't have a solid sales process. You likely don't have an idea of what to say in an organic way. I give my clients a script step by step at the Giant Experience Master Training that I host. And it's not for them to say exactly that, what I say, but it's to give them context on how to have a conversation with someone that's highly valued, that wants to work with you, and how to close that client and know whether or not they have interest in working with you or not. And when I tell you the number of clients that I've had who have literally just listened to that script and do it during the week of the training, close clients because they just didn't know what to say. All right. Now, I'm not a big fan of not trusting your own intuition and figuring out what you need to say. But there's some guidelines to understanding how to have a highly valued sales conversation with others. And if you're finding that when you're closing your clients, it's taking you longer than 3 days, I know for a fact you need training around that. There's no doubt about it. I have clients who close within 3 days. $2,500 products, $5,000, $20,000, $50,000. The only exception are for my clients who do corporate deals, which sometimes they take a little bit longer because of the process to, it's multi-layered it's not 3 days, but they get a commitment, right? Within a week that people are serious and interested in that process. So if it's taking you long to convert clients, it's part of what's in the way. And I can tell you that's the work that you need to put in your business. And likely you need to have some degree of sales training, some degree of sales scripting, and you need to learn how to organically put yourself in an intuitive process with a system that works to sell. It's just true. Okay. I had to learn that for myself. If you're that person and you close a client and you don't know when they're calling you back or who's calling, are you calling them, are they calling you, or is it a yes or no, or you feel more comfortable leaving that sale out there in opposed to picking up the phone and having a scheduled time, something's wrong with your sales process. If the client doesn't understand that they have to respond by a certain period of time, something's wrong with your sales process. I'm breaking this down. We're talking about if you want to create time freedom in your business and you leveraging your knowledge, you have to have a solid sales process, or there is no freedom. If there's no profit, there's no freedom. Okay, no profit, no freedom. Are you guys with me? So if you want to create freedom, you've got to generate profit in your business. It is the only way to create time freedom. And I'm going to tell you why this is so important, because most people aren't selling enough. So when they get on the phone, if they get on the phone with a client, or if they're at a live event and they're selling what they have, the reality is they're so desperate to take every single person that potentially is interested that they never qualify to work with the right people. I know I just called you out, and I got it. I understand, but it's time to change that. All right. And if you need my support, I'm happy to do that. Number five, the fifth thing. All right. And Tawana, this is making sense on what I need to hear. Awesome. Okay. Let me do this. Okay. Number 5. If you want to write your ticket to time freedom, leveraging your knowledge, and number 5 is you've got to choose your hours. Now, this is radical. Okay. You got to choose your hours. Now, when I got started my business, I wasn't sure if I didn't know if the business was going to be successful or not, but I choose my hours. From the very beginning, I built the business for freedom. I didn't build my business as a side hustle. I didn't build my business on the side. I didn't do any of that. I built the business to get myself free. It was my only mindset. It's the only thing I articulated. It was my only intention. And for those of you who are building this business, always just have a little extra, that's probably what you created in your business. I didn't build my business that way. I set my hours. I was like, I want to build a business that allows me to be home this amount of time. I want to be able to do this thing. And I really leaned into what freedom would look like for me. Why am I talking about this? Because what I realized for myself was that I had to create the right why for myself. And I never built my business for my family. I didn't build my business for my husband. I didn't build my business for my kids. I didn't, because I knew whether or not I built my business or not, my kids were going to have 3 square meals a day. They would go to private school. They would, we would have a great life. Okay. But one thing I didn't know would happen, I didn't know if I would be free. Okay. And I was like, man, I got to get me free. And I knew if I got me free, then I could show up and be the mom I wanted to be. Okay. And I'd have the freedom to be there for my husband and my kids in ways that I desire from a powerful place. And so I made a powerful choice for myself. I made myself my why. And it motivated me. It drove me. Now, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you because maybe you have the wrong why. A lot of people say, look, I'm doing this business for my kids. I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it for my husband if you're married. And then I'm like, well, what did you do last week? Nothing. You didn't call anyone. You didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you think about your why, what you're saying, why you're doing your business, and you look at your behaviors, are you congruent? See, I was doing my business to get myself free. I was like, look, I just want to work 1-2 days a week. And I want to grow this company where the sky has no limit, right? I wanted just to build an amazing business. My job had a limit, okay, in terms of what I could earn. And because I had the right why, I was motivated every day to do what I needed to do. Thank you, V, right? So that is powerful. Because I had the right why, V, I was driven. Okay, I was like, I'm going to get myself free. Every single thing that I did, every act that I took for myself, it was for me. It was going to get me free, and I knew that would allow me to show up in a different way as a mom, as a wife, as a person, as a daughter, as a community member. But I couldn't do anything for anyone else if I was committed 70 hours a week somewhere else, because that 70 hours a week was governing every single part of my choice system. Does that make sense? If I had to ask, can I take off for this day that's important, or this recital, or my husband's hospital visits? Come on. I wanted to own my time. And I wanted to come on here today and talk about, how to write your ticket to time freedom. And I know that what I just said, number 5, is very radical, because you may say, well, Mia, why would I choose my hours? You need to step inside that dream. You need to step inside what freedom would look like for you. Imagine what your life will look like when you are free. What are you doing? Okay, that's what I did. I thought about what would I be doing? How would I be working? Who would I be visiting? How would I be adding value in my life with my kids, with my husband? What would I be? How would I be? Would I be gardening? Would I be in another state or another country running my business? I thought about that. And because I stepped inside of that, I realized that's where I wanted to be. And so every single time I was faced with like, I don't want to do this, or I thought, man, you want to be here 70 hours a week? That's what this looks like for the next 20 years. Or you want this. And I really was able to check myself, and it really allowed me to shift my behaviors to create a business that allowed me to build a business that is unrecognizable. And I want that for you. I want that for you. I want the same for you. And the reason I came on here today was just to talk about how to write your ticket to freedom, because it wasn't until I saw someone who was free, living in a way that was congruent with me, I was like, I want to live like this my own way, that I knew it was possible. And I suggest to you that your mentors, your teachers, your coaches, if they are free, if you desire to be free, only work with someone that's free. That was me. My motto was, if you're not free, you cannot teach me. I did not want to work with a coach that was part-time traveling, part-time working. I'm not against any of that. I wanted to be 100% free. So if you're going to teach me, you had to be free. And there had to be evidence of that. And I always tell my clients exactly the same thing, because ultimately your coach and your mentor is going to teach you what they do. All right. That's what they're going to consult you about. That's what they're going to show you how to do. And it was, for me, going to one live event changed everything for me. I remember being at that event, and at the time, this is 19 years ago, my coach was selling something for like, I think it was like $10,000, and maybe 30 people stood up. And I was brand new. I didn't even know what coaching was. And I remember thinking at that moment, I want to work with this woman. She works not from the comfort of her home, from anywhere in the world. There was evidence of it. And 30 people stood up for something that was $10K after a 2-hour seminar. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? I think she could probably help me sell something for $2,500. If she could help me sell something for $2,500 to 10 people, I'm in. And I say this to you because a lot of times when people want proof, they're like, I want to know, is she a millionaire? She is multimillionaire, and there's so much proof of it. But the reality at that time, I didn't know her well enough to know that. But I knew there was evidence based on her lifestyle, how she was living, based on her testimonials. There was proof. It was evident to me. And it was enough proof that I knew I could trust intuitively to work with her. And it's changed my life. And I hope that there's something I said today that supports you. I'm going to open the floor right now. I'm done today. I'm going to open the floor. And if you have any ahas or takeaways that you want to share, now's the time. The floor is open. All right. If you have any ahas or takeaways, any questions for me, what was one thing that you heard today that you're like, that resonated with me? I wanted to just talk about, how to get yourself free, because a lot of times we think it's harder than it is. We think it's working more. But what I found is that, literally I work on Tuesdays about 3.5 hours. Amanda, you can attest to that. And about 3.5 hours on Tuesdays. And then I've got a couple private clients each month. And then I do one live event every couple of weeks. But that's my work. Most of my time is free. I own my time. I don't trade time for dollars. I built an amazing business, leveraging my intellect, trading what I know to help people grow their businesses in their life in a way that uses time compounding. I want to share with you, as I wait for your comments, upcoming, the Giant Experience Master Training is my signature product. If you're interested in learning more about me, check out the testimonial page and see the kind of results that women who I've had the opportunity to transfer my step-by-step process with, look at their testimonials on the page and see if you resonate. It's all real, and it can't all be lying. That's the truth. Okay. Any ahas or takeaways? You guys are full. All right. If you're watching the replay, post your aha, post your takeaway. I wanted to come on and just share from my heart, because I think sometimes we need to know the truth. There's no one to tell us what that looks like. And unless you know someone, I knew really successful people when I got started, but they were all working like crazy hard. Okay. Amanda writes, her aha is seeing you do it with evidence, and I want to be it. Yes. So you're one of my clients, right? So, you watch what's happening in our community, how I work and the reality, how many hours I work and who I'm working with, right? You have the opportunity to see them each and every week. And it's very high value. People are changing their lives from one week to the next, and definitely from month to month, right? So I'm real excited about that. Any other ahas or takeaways anybody want to share? Any ahas or takeaways anyone want to share? Because I think it's important when you're here, you have to be ready to receive. And part of that is sharing, something that you got that really you're like, man, I'm going to take this with me and I'm going to do something differently because of what I've learned. Because you can hear great things, but if you don't act on what you hear, then nothing changes, right, in your world. And if you hear something, you take an action, it can literally change your life. Any questions, comments, or thoughts, last call, ahas, or takeaways? I'm here for it. I want to thank you for your time today. I appreciate you for being here. You could have been anywhere, but you're here. And I'm excited about that. And I know that you are here for a very specific reason. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel. It's 100% free. Okay. It's 100% free. And there's so much value there, right? Equally to support you. Shamara says, do what you're good at, not what you do, or what you're just doing, right? You got to do what you're good at, right? Because if you do what you're good at, the reality is that your ideal clients want the solutions you know how to provide. And they'll pay you top dollar if they have a problem that you know how to solve. And that's really important to understand the distinction there. A lot of times people want to, say, I'm so passionate about this or that, but, I'm passionate about my garden. I did replant some plants today, okay? But I'm not skilled enough to be paid to do your garden, but it is my passion. But at the end of the day, there's some things that I know how to do. Packaging, right, at the highest level, how to take your knowledge and restructure it in a way that you can be a high-paid coach, consultant, trainer, online educator, speaker that allows you to monetize completely differently for high ticket. And even when I have clients that come to me that have been selling something for $40, right, per person, I am able to show them how to restructure and work with a different client or change their business model 100%. So think about what you know how to do, right? That you're really, really good at. V writes, I like the name, Rethinking My Why. So isn't that powerful? It's so interesting because that's one of those things that it's there, but sometimes we don't think about it that way. But when you really go back and you think about it, you're like, okay, I said my why is this, that, and the other thing. But then my question is, if it's your why, what did you do last week for your why? Because if you find you consistently not showing up, doing what you need to do, then you probably got the wrong why, because your why will drive you. See, every time I thought about working 20 years, 70 hours a week, yeah, I was clear about what I needed to do. Okay. I was clear. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. Okay. Yolanda writes, okay, you only need one high ticket offer is a great reminder for me. That's it, Yolanda, just one offer. And so the idea of having multiple offers is what, it waters down the whole process. I always tell to my clients, like, if you have one offer, and you grow that offer to $250,000, okay, just hear me on this, okay? For most people, $100,000 isn't enough. And I know that there's somebody out there and they'll laugh and they're like, oh, no, it's not. $100,000 is not really going to change your life. $250,000, you can really feel it, right? More in your life, okay? So one offer, drive that offer to $250,000. Then if you want to diversify with something else maybe you want to do. But the idea that you haven't driven the main offer, the thing that could create amazing results, the thing you could become known for, and you've got all these other things, people never really get to know you. I've been selling the same things for decades. All right. So think about that. I hope that supports someone. Amanda writes, so glad you're my mentor. Thank you. I appreciate you. And she writes, yes, that's me. You've taught me so much in such a little time I've worked with you. Well, you're an implementer. You do the work. You show up. You do the work. Because that's the thing. You can know what to do, just like everybody heard here tonight. But at the end of the day, you've got to do the work. And Simone, I think I had almost missed you. I love that. I love your profile picture. My biggest takeaway is look for evidence of your mentor's life. Very important. Now, see, evidence isn't stuff only, okay? Evidence is lifestyle. Like I was looking at how I wanted to live. And the fact is my mentor was living in Mexico for like 6 months of the year, and then in New Jersey, 3 months of the year, and then in Philadelphia, the rest of the other 3 months. And I said, she's got lifestyle. She's got a business. She can travel. I want the freedom. I don't know that I want to do it that way, but I want the freedom to be where I want to be. Okay. And I want someone like that to mentor me. Okay. And I did not want to build my business, as many coaches do, on the road. I didn't want it. I just didn't want my income to be based on my ability to perform. I didn't want to go from one model of that to that model. I wanted diversification. If I wanted to speak, great, but I didn't want to have to speak to generate income, and I don't. And my clients can attest to it. I work primarily from the comfort of my home or anywhere I am traveling. And my business is exceptionally time rich, which many people know nothing about because it's built on leverage. It's really, really powerful. This idea of working yourself. You know how sometimes people have told us, like, you gotta be twice as good. You gotta work twice as hard. The rest of your life is just not sustainable. Okay. And that's why people are burnt out and they don't like what they're doing. All right. No, you can build a business with ease and grace. What if you like to garden? That's me. That's my new thing, right? Let me build a business that allows me to garden for 3 hours in the morning. Okay. And then after that, go to my gym. Okay, and work out, right? Like, what about that? Like, what, like, maybe that's what I want to do, or something else, or have breakfast with my husband, or whatever, right? So the idea that I build the business around how I want to live is the most important thing. I actually was working on that, my new schedule for the fall, because my youngest goes to school tomorrow. And I was like, how do I want to do this? I was like, so I usually like to be in my garden at 7:30, and I like to do like meditation and my prayer. And then I was like, till like maybe like 11 o'clock. Because usually I'm like in the dirt, having my coffee, just it's all the whole thing, right? And then when I do that, once I'm done with that, then I usually have breakfast actually a little bit later. And then after that, then I like to go downstairs to my gym, work out, hop in my sauna, and chill out. And then I'm ready to start my day by 1 o'clock, right? So if 7:30, I was literally working through my schedule today because my husband takes my son to school primarily, and build my business around the life I want to live, not get up and jump in my office, jump in my car, jump in my clothes. And no, I'm better gardening first. All right. You got to think about, I'm using my examples, but think about yours. All right. And that's why I'm sharing it with you. Okay. Tawana, the one thing that sat with me is that the offer shouldn't be more than 3. Yes, Tawana, you know what? I'm going to have to fist bump you there. Okay. A client knows if they want your services. Listen. Okay. That was such a huge one. Okay. And this idea of having these sales out there, they just out there forever. They're just out there. These folks have said they want to work with you, and you're still waiting for them. And you don't know when they're calling you, and they don't know when to call you. Okay. It means that you need support in a different way, and likely around your sales process. Is there a sales process? Okay. Likely around what to say. Okay. Yes. Okay. Some scripting involved. Doesn't mean scripting you not be you, but you likely need some kind of framework so you understand how to close a client. Because if you don't understand how to do that and you're not closing clients in less than 3 days, something is wrong. And, I want to say this, like, when I teach my clients this, they could be brand spanking new. They could have not known how to do this, but quickly they learn how to do it. They understand. It's not something that it's going to take you 14 modules to learn. No, it's just, you just need to understand how to do it. And once you understand how to do it, it changes everything. Check out the testimonials on the page that I posted. I'll post the link here again. And specifically look at one of the testimonies I want you to see is Diana. You'll see her name there. Because Diana came to my event in January. I think, was it January or December? And I showed her how to sell in a different way. And she closed a $144,000 deal. Double what she would have normally asked. Because when you understand how to have an appropriate sales conversation, you're no longer selling. The client is asking you for the business. And that's the thing that's missing. All right. So I'm going to close on that. You guys had amazing feedback. Simone writes, absolutely. I appreciate you. Amazing feedback. I appreciate you. If there's anything I can do to support you, you can always message us. We'll get right back to you, or make sure your homework is to go check out that testimonial page. Okay. And Tawana says, thank you. That sounds so true. In organic sale and closing training. Absolutely. It's something that you need sometimes that you don't know you need, because you're like, what happened? You know how you get real excited about, like, oh yeah, this person wants to buy, and they don't ever buy. Right. And you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what happened. You got to know what happens. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have an amazing night. It was an honor spending time with you.